For the next part of our lecture, we have Professor Devendra Thapa from University of Agder, Norway.
I would now like to hand over the mic to Professor Thapa.
Okay, thank you, Slesa. I'll take over the mic now. Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Prajwal. He was the one who actually asked me to give this lecture. And I want to tell you one thing, that whenever I talk to the young people like you guys, I go around the world, then I see the beautiful minds, right? And this is the most joyful, or you can say I get the inspiration from that. Second interesting thing is Professor Subarnaji, he was my actually master thesis supervisor. So it's a really great honor to share the platform with him.
Thank you, Devendra. Thank you. So we are Chela, Guru and Chela in the same
Guru
platform.
and Chela. So it's really a great pleasure to talk in front of Guruji.
Thank you.
And he set a good platform. You see, he told how this ICT is very important and all that things. But what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to tell anything about, okay, maybe something, not about ICT, the details of the ICT, because you know what kind of technical projects are there through the first lecture. I'll let you go through the story, okay? I'll tell you the story of my own life, and then I'll try to connect with ICT 4D. This is what we need to learn on the way. So I'll tell you how I actually experience the way of ICT 4D, and then maybe you'll get some idea about this. So it was a long story. Okay, I'm not going to tell about my biography. Okay, maybe I'll write books sometimes, and then you can read that. It's a marketing in advance. Okay. Okay. So when I was doing my first PhD in South Korea, but remember, doing 2 PhD is not a very good idea. Okay, it's a crazy idea. Only crazy people do, like me. So when you do, just do 1 PhD and do it carefully. Okay, so I did my first PhD in industrial engineering from South Korea, because I wanted to get this doctor. That was very fascinating for me. Doctor Devendra. So I tried to get that degree, and I went to South Korea, and I did my first PhD. It took 3 years. 3 years, just a PhD sakyo. PhD sakyo, I was doing a postdoc. And then what happens is actually not the doctorate that fascinated me. What fascinated is the development of South Korea. South Korea, because that was really, really interesting for me. Okay? And then I look at the history. History part that they were actually poor. If you look into the 1960s, South Korea was, their per capita income was lower than actually Nepal. So the amazing 40-50 years, how they become poorest country to developed country. And that was my thinking after finishing, during doing my PhD, right? So when I finished my PhD, so my PhD was very, very technical. Drawing some mathematical model and then fixing some Hyundai car problem, whole night visual C programming and all that things. I said, come on, this is shit. I didn't want to do this thing. And then I started to explore other things. I said, what I want to know actually is this technology has actually made this South Korea so developed country, right? Can we do the similar thing in Nepal? So this could like a study. So I said, okay. And then, well, instead of fixing this programming, I should look into how this ICT leads to development, right? ICT 4D, information and communication technology for development. So development, then that was my question. So I started to look at, I said, okay, I want to do second PhD. So my family, friends, they thought he is a pagal boy, because when people do PhD, they think crazy boy because he spent so many hours in the lab. That was the basic thing. I never told my parents actually I'm going for second PhD in this topic, right? But I was determined. I knew that why I'm doing this second PhD. And the purpose was to explore the research opportunities in this area, ICT 4D, how it leads to ICT, how this ICT leads to development. That was the question I wanted to ask. So then I applied again to many places, to Australia, Melbourne University, to Agder University, to Brunel University. And then because I had already one PhD, hey man, who will not want to hire you, right? But they will definitely say you're crazy, but they wanted to hire me. But what happens is Agder University provided the best money, okay? That was the attraction. So it was the ICT 4D topic, the same topic, and I was able to, I was allowed to do my case study in Nepal. And then they were giving good money. So I came to University of Agder. This is how I end up with the second PhD, okay? So second PhD is about ICT 4D. So सुरुमा मलाई के लाग्थ्यो भने if you have technology, this is a computer चाहिँ देशमा भित्राएपछि चाहिँ विकास हुँदो रहेछ भने हैन. So maybe this South Korea, because they have a lot of technology, that's why they are so developed. तर जब when I started my research, then slowly चाहिँ this started to become a myth. Okay, so actually I'm a very interactive person. I would like to ask question, okay, and you can actually type the answer. I'll just ask one question. I was in Microsoft actually, Microsoft ले एकपटक यो ICT 4D को class गराउँदै थियो. Then one mentor came and he asked us, okay, suppose there are two rooms, okay, दुईटा room छ अरे, and if both room has exactly the same kind of technology, okay, all resources छ त्यहाँ चाहिँ. Now एउटा room मा चाहिँ I'll put you, let's say for right now I'll put you in one room, and another room I'll bring some illiterate farmer from the remote mountain area. Okay, मेरो गाउँ बागलुङको चाहिँ जैमिनी नगरपालिकाबाट चाहिँ suppose एकजनाले लिएर आए, मैले दुईजनालाई चाहिँ त्यो रूममा राखिदिन्छु. Okay, now you see both has same technology, except no difference. Okay, equality भन्छौँ नि हामीले, equality of resources. Okay, equality is there, you got both the resources, same resources. Now my question is, if I give 2 hours to these two people, who will collect more funding? मैले भनेको okay, you have 2 hours now, use all these resources and then collect funding. So whom do you think will collect more funding? Yeah, I'm asking you, you can just type in your chat box. Is it so difficult? Who will collect more funding, you or the farmer? Come on, guys. Farmer, okay. Good. But can you give me the reason? Why do you think a farmer who doesn't know anything about how to use computer, sitting inside the room, right? And then you, who knows everything about how to use this laptop and then social media and everything, how the hell the farmer is going to make more money than you? Okay, someone says. Okay. This is, you know, it's a critical thinking. So I like it when someone says he will not use, someone says because he will sell the computer and generate income. It's like, you know, there was an egg, सुनको अंडा दिने भन्छ नि हामीले चाहिँ कुखुरा चाहिँ त्यो एउटा चाहिँ तरिका के छ नि take the eggs, अर्को चाहिँ के छ नि कुखुरालाई मारेर चाहिँ and then try to take the eggs. That's what you are saying. Okay, the whole idea was this, and I liked the answers. Okay, the whole idea is because farmer just computer there थोड़ा ना के गर्न सक्छ. If he has no education, no idea, right? Why should I use this one? भने त्यो कुरा नै थाहा छैन के होला. Okay, that's why just computer ल्याएर अथवा चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजी ल्याएर चाहिँ विकास हुँदैन. First thing, जस्तो हाम्रो सुवर्ण सरले भन्नुभयो थियो, human resources. Okay, human resources here is this is the first thing to understand ICT. When you first you need to understand ICT भनेको के हो त भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब यो ल्यापटप कम्प्युटर ल्याएर हैन ल्यापटप कम्प्युटर ल्याएर चाहिँ कसैलाई दियो those who doesn't know how to use, why to use, they will never use. Okay, even if they use, they will use it to maybe कसैले त पिट्नलाई चाहिँ युज गर्न सक्छ हैन, ल्यापटपले छटाउनलाई चाहिँ, but they will not use it for their agriculture purpose. Okay, that's where we need to first develop the abilities. हैन, मान्छेको एबिलिटी डेभलप गर्नु पर्यो कि, अवेयरनेस ल्याउनु पर्यो, एजुकेसन ल्याउनु पर्यो, तिनीहरूको क्यापेबिलिटिज हुनु पर्यो. So capabilities एकपटक भएपछि, like you have capabilities and you know how to use all these social media tools and everything, where to contact, whom to contact, right? So like Prajwal, you see, he contacted all of you because he knew how to use the social media. He contacted me, and that's why he could arrange this event. This is not possible for any farmer or any one who doesn't know about the technology. Okay, so first thing is we need to develop the capabilities, capacity. Okay, capacity develop garnu parcha. So there is a theory in ecological psychology. Okay, त्यसलाई भन्छ हामीले affordance theory भन्छ के. So what does theory says? कि मान्छेले जब कुनै objectलाई हेर्छ, then they actually don't look into the future. They look what I can do with this. Okay, for example, if I look at a chair, suddenly I'll say, okay, this is for sitting. Okay, if I look at the cup, suddenly I say, oh, it's for drinking tea. Okay, I say drinking coffee. So what I can do with this, that's the ecological psychology. Okay? So we need to understand that psychology. So first thing, if the farmers see the laptop or whatever digital tools, so first thing I would say, what are the affordances? What are the possibilities that I can do with this? They will never use it. Okay, even if you provide the resources, they will never use, and even they use, they don't know for why, what is the goal of using these things. Okay, so that's why first we look at how to make them, how to develop their capacity so that they can perceive those affordances, action possibilities, and then take some action to achieve the goal. Okay, the farmer like हामीले train गरे, जस्तो नर्वेमा छ, because they're trained, they have the capacity and they know why to use these tools to get the market. Okay, agriculture product like कुन market मा sell गर्ने, world को कुन market मा चाहिँ prices are up and down हुँदैछ. So they use that for that purpose. So they know the affordances. Okay, so the first thing is we need to understand what are the affordances, how to make it visible to the people who are poor, who have no education. Okay, so basic कुराहरु के. Second things also development. Okay, now I have a laptop computer I can use for something, but then what is development? So tell me, what is development from your perspective? Type your answer. Because Because is the name of my one of my cousin actually, and he never grew. Improvement, okay? Change, advancement, progression from one point to another, good. Improvement life quality, okay. So let's say if I ask you, okay, good point. I'll start with this. So the concept of development, that comes from after the World War. Okay, the World War sakyo, the Europe was completely, if you look into the completely khatam. Again, as I said, 100 years ago, Europe was poorer than Nepal. Okay? Because World War sometimes they used to get this plague, something like COVID-19, they get this black sheep or something, okay? So they were very poor. At that time, 1950, there was a person called Marshall in America. So he come up with the Marshall Plan. Okay, Marshall Plan is okay, give them all the resources. If you give them resources, money, they layer infrastructure, everything developers. And actually it worked. So okay, that's called the modernization theory. Modernization because it's the infrastructure develop पुरानो रीति-रिवाजलाई छोड्दै जाने, नयाँ रीतिलाई चाहिँ accept गर्ने, and then it will lead to the development. So then Europe became developed. Okay, that was the Marshall Plan in 1950. then now we have, we say first world, second world, third world. So first is America, Russia, and then third world is a poor country. I let it China. There's north and south one. North one goes a developed country, south one goes a weak. All these developing countries are south. North or south goes a divide one. So what these developed countries, what they did is they started to give donation. Okay, a lot of donation to these poor countries. That's called the modernization theory. And donation deal, they used to come, a lot of NGOs, a lot of money, and the whole idea is learn what kind of values we have. You Western value like scientific culture, then it's called the Vikas, development. Okay, that's called the modernization theory. So modernized Kathmandu is a very modern city, but from my perspective, it is not development. Okay, so modernization, the building, but only 3% of Kathmandu people can actually go to the shopping malls, right? Not the 97% of Janasab. Then is it a development? Maybe not, right? So the second thing here, okay, modernization doesn't work because there is different context. Every country has their own social structure, own social norms, different culture, religion, that also affect how actually people see the development. Yeah. This is the dependency theory. Dependency theory, don't look at others. Do it yourself. Be dependent. The problem is in the globalization is not possible. You have to depend. Okay, depend is a wrong word. Rather, I would say interdependent. Interdependent and dependent are different user. If I'm a dependent, I'll completely depend on you. I'll keep on asking money with you. Okay, my picture and like coffee like that's a dependency. Interdependent money, I have also the capacity. Okay, I know these things and you know that thing. Let's share our knowledge, experience, resources. Okay, so that's an equal level more interdependency. So interdependency bhayena bhane chai khali dependency matre gare chai ya chai afu matre banchu arusanga chai cut hunchu, that's not possible. Okay, so this theory didn't work. So third mile, human oriented development. एउटा अमर्त्य सेन भन्ने चाहिँ प्रोफेसर हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँले नोबेल प्राइज पनि जित्नु भएको थियो हैन. So उहाँको theory is a capability approach. So how many of you have heard about Amartya Sen or about capability approach? Anyone? Okay, Polraj, right? Good, very nice. So what Amartya Sen said is development is not about dividing the income equally. Because suppose मैले चाहिँ भने 10 जना मान्छेहरु छन्, म 10 जनालाई चाहिँ 10 हजार दिन्छु, it's an equal distribution of income. तर यहाँ हेर्नुस्, त्यो 10 जनामा हुन सक्छ एउटा चाहिँ एकदम healthy मान्छे छ, अर्को चाहिँ बिमार मान्छे छ, एउटा चाहिँ disabled छ, someone is woman, someone is pregnant, right? They have a very different demand, right? Their requirement is very different. So the whole idea is then equal distribution of the income doesn't make any sense, right? अर्को कुरा आउँछ GDP. देशको चाहिँ GDP 10%, 20%, 19%, 11% भनिरहेछ. तर के छ? If you look into the India or China, like they have double digit मा आइरहेछ, 10, 11. But if you look into overall picture, many people are still absolute poverty. That's also not development. So Amartya Senle ke bhanyo bhane, development means, listen carefully, okay? This definition is very, very important. Development means when each and every individual, okay, they get the chance to live the life which they value. Okay, I should be able to live a life which I value, and there's a good reason for the value. Okay, suppose ma Nepal ma छु रे, म चाहिँ रुकुमको कुनै जिल्लामा बसिरहेछु. Now you see, freedom of choice भन्छ के त्यसलाई चाहिँ. भने म रुकुमको कुनै गाउँमा छु, I want to get an education like Harvard level को चाहिँ मलाई education चाहियो, MIT को जस्तो education चाहियो. Do we have that possibilities? Do we have that freedom of choice? No, right? That's why even तपाईसँग पैसा हुन सक्छ. You can be a very rich person in this remote areas, but if you want to get access to good healthcare, छैन. Okay? Healthcare, we don't have expert doctors and all that things. Education access छैन. If I want to do the similar job in Nepal, there's no market, right? There's no possibilities. So so we need the government, the public-private sector should create such environment where each and individual has the opportunity to live the life with the value. They should have the freedom of choice to education, to the basic healthcare, to the income-generating activities. So this is how I understand development. Okay, for me, development means the freedom of choice. So individuals should be allowed to live a life with the value. Suppose malai birth basa man layo, you see, fasting and starvation are two different things. So fasting is your choice. You're fasting because you have a choice to do that. If you want to eat, you can eat. Starvation is not a choice. Okay, so that's the difference between freedom of choice and unfreedom of choice. So the whole development should be the technology use. I said ICT has some affordances. So people should have those capacity to see those affordances and then use for the purpose so that they can live the life with the value. Okay, so I should be able to use this technology for the purpose of either getting access to education, to the basic healthcare, or to the income generating activities, right? That's the whole idea of ICT for D, right? So ICT has some affordances. There are people with their values, with goals, and they should be able to actualize those affordances. तर त्यो actualize गर्नको लागि खाली technology र मान्छे मात्रै भएर पनि हुँदैन. We need a lot of policies चाहियो. Political policies त्यस्तो हुनु पर्यो. अनि अहिलेको latest जुन sustainable development goal भन्छ त्यसमा environment पनि आउँछ के. Okay? So you should not destroy your environment. Environment friendly हुनु पर्यो. तपाईको चाहिँ each and every individual should have the choice to get the education, good healthcare, and then access to the income generating activities, right? So it's very easy for me to differentiate because I'm living in one of the SGI index #1 country, Norway, and then and Nepal. I love Nepal too much. Okay, that's why I try to compare. I do all my researches related to Nepal, and I feel very inspired when I talk to the beautiful mind from Nepal. Okay, I think I get too much carried away. That's the problem with me. When I start, I don't stop, but I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. When you said that, I feel like a lot of people who, reach out to their goals really passionately, there's always this one point where society is gonna say or like you're crazy sort of thing, and I've seen that a lot, mostly in Nepali society. But as you say, double quote, the key is to be determined, and I think that's something that keeps you going. Professor Thapa, I would definitely love to read your biography once it's published. Thank you so much for giving us your perspective on ICT in a very different way. Thank you so much.